So let's say that this guy has the flu, could be any flu, and here's a droplet from his sneeze containing, if we move in and take a really close look, you see each one of those little purple things is a virus. And there are a lot of viruses floating through the air, some of which go inevitably up this unfortunate man's nose. How did that guy feel when you ripped off half of his face?
It was interesting because we did it while he was sleeping.
Okay, I am talking with medical illustrator David Belinsky, who designed this video for Xyrus, a research company. So here comes the virus, and it's going to land on one of this guy's throat cells. So notice it's covered with little yellow knobby things. You call these keys, right?
Those are the keys.
Yeah, this is a key, this is a key, this is a key. Okay, if the keys on this virus happen to fit the locks, which are those little purpley stick-uppy things on the surface of the cell, if there is a match, the cell, watch this, welcomes the virus in. And what's this?
This is the welcoming committee. They all interlock with each other, and they pull this membrane down into the cell.
And down it goes deeper and deeper, and that welcoming structure disperses, and the virus capsule bursts, and out comes the secret recipe for how to make more viruses in those little noodly things. So this unsuspecting cell has been tricked into guiding these virus recipes right into its own command center, the nucleus. So in they go.
And they are immediately recognized by this big pink molecule, which is a mini factory.
Yeah, what is it doing?
It threads the nuclear material, the instruction code of the virus, through one hole, and out another hole comes a brand new instruction set.
So it's a copying machine making copy after copy after copy of virus recipes, which then go out of the nucleus to little chefs, those blue peanutty things. They cook up proteins that go back into the nucleus where they are reassembled into baby viruses, and then out they go. They get covered up and head to the surface where they get new keys, and then boom, here they come. This is an eruption of virus after virus after virus after only one virus entered the cell. But how many came out? Well, millions. Millions. So if one virus can produce 1 million babies and do it again and again and again, how come this guy doesn't just drop dead, I don't know, in like 10 minutes?
Well, because you have about 100 trillion cells.
I see. So 1 million viruses is just a drop in the bucket when you have 100 trillion cells. And anyway, remember, you do have your own immune system, which when it sees a virus usually kills it. So while the virus does multiply fast, with any luck your immune system will work just a little faster. So, yes, viruses, all viruses want to spread, that's what they do, but most of the time we do keep them in check. Most of the time.
One of the last high-speed trains to arrive from China before the rail link is shut down, and the arrivals hall was packed. No health checks here, but public appeals to turn themselves in should they feel unwell.
If you develop fever, cough, or other symptoms after returning to Hong Kong, put on a face mask, consult a doctor as soon as possible.
Besides this rail link, ferries too are stopping, and half the boundary crossings are being closed. But these measures are seen as really quite paltry by many in Hong Kong. The traffic between the city and mainland China makes Hong Kong particularly vulnerable to the spread of the virus, and few think this is going to do much to halt that spread. Everyone here wants a face mask, and they'll queue all day to get one. The city, racked by pro-democracy protests for the past 8 months, now faces a fresh crisis. And the fear is particularly acute here. The SARS virus in 2003 killed hundreds, the most deaths outside of mainland China, and many feel the nightmare is back.
Hong Kong people is very afraid this SARS. Yeah.
You're afraid that it's all going to happen again?
Yes.
It's quite difficult to purchase the mask.
Are people beginning to panic, do you think, in Hong Kong?
Yeah, I think so.
Are you?
Yeah.
Distrust in the authorities built up during the democracy demonstrations has morphed into violence over its handling of the coronavirus. This was meant to be a quarantine facility, but the furious crowd felt it to be too close to other flats. And nearly a year of rioting has led to firm suspicions about every government decision. The gamble paid off. Within hours, the neighbouring residents were being told the plans for the quarantine facility had been halted.
Should not put the carrier in this estate. So they should put all the carrier to the further from the people.
We went to one of the government quarantine facilities, set up in woodland, hidden deep inside a nature reserve. No one's allowed out until they've cleared the 14-day incubation period.
The police just outside cordon to provide the night security. and not allow the people to go from inside go outside.
Hong Kongers feel they're on the front line of this viral crisis, and few here have confidence their government can contain it. Alex Crawford, Sky News, Hong Kong.
Wuhan's overcrowded hospitals and doctors struggling without resources, Beijing tries to show it's in control of the epidemic consuming this country. Soldiers arrive with supplies, as do hundreds of doctors from all over China. TV is also showing successes, like the story of Zhang Changcheng, a medic infected with the coronavirus, now recovering. I feel I'm in pretty good shape, he tells a reporter standing outside his hospital room. My fever's gone and I don't cough so often. But that optimism contrasts sharply with big increases in infections and deaths even in the past 24 hours. This is still a city and a region locked down. Roads, planes and trains all blocked in a desperate attempt to stop the virus. The mayor of Wuhan predicts the number of cases here to go up by another 1,000 in the coming days. Beijing officials painted an equally grim picture today, expecting the virus to become stronger and spread farther. It's all very new, says the deputy director of China's National Health Commission, Li Bin. Our knowledge is limited, and the epidemic is not in control. In fact, many fear the situation is already far worse than government officials are telling them. In Hong Kong, for instance, where they still remember the huge toll from the SARS virus.
I'm
worried, says Peter Cheng. We must close our borders.
And so, Sasha, an entire province is locked down, the virus still spreading. Any sign of what steps China will take next?
Well, at this point, it looks as though some of the parts of China are taking their own initiative. But later today, bowing to public pressure, Hong Kong did close its borders, and it banned anybody who had been to Wuhan from coming into Hong Kong. We're seeing this in more and more communities, individual communities around China, towns that are simply deciding to close the roads to keep outsiders out, to try to keep the virus out. In some cases, they're dumping dirt on the roads or digging them up even. It's a very local initiative, but it means that you could see in the next foreseeable future that China itself could be locked down and transportation could well be paralyzed. Ian?
Sasha Petrusik in Beijing, where it is already Monday morning.
Yet more measures to curb the spread of the coronavirus outbreak. Everyone entering the Beijing subway system is checked for symptoms, and subway cars are disinfected every hour. Still concerned about infection, some head out anyway.
I'm really afraid that the virus might infect me or my family members. I'm supposed to go back to work in a few days, and my son will go back to school soon.
I need to go to work. I have no other choice. If I didn't need to work, I will definitely stay at home. Keep wearing the mask and keep washing the hands.
This is one of several long-distance bus stations here in the capital, Beijing. They are all closed now. That's because the government is concerned because the bus system is less regulated than high-speed rail and the airlines. So they're concerned that they can't track people or where they traveled from. But it's not just in the capital. Other cities have begun to restrict long-distance transportation. Shandong province will suspend all inner-city and interprovincial buses. Some neighborhoods on the outskirts of Beijing are sealed off because of suspected coronavirus infection. All wildlife trade is now banned across China. The coronavirus was traced to a seafood market in Wuhan that was illegally selling wildlife.
We have taken preventative control measures in Wuhan as our top priority, and we have set up a frontline working group to guide the local authorities in relevant efforts. We have closed relevant markets in speedy manners to tighten control of illegal breeding, transportation, trading, and consumption of wildlife or wild animals.
While the central government has elevated the control over the virus to the highest level, there's a growing call for the local government in Wuhan to be replaced because of the way it handled the outbreak. And overcrowding hospitals there continue to plead for more supplies and staff. Scott Heidler, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
For the coronavirus, but half of the confirmed cases in the Hubei province, where Wuhan is the provincial capital, in fact scattered in cities surrounding Wuhan, and Huanggang is next to Wuhan, 2.5 hours drive from downtown Wuhan. And right over there, that is a newly opened hospital called Dabie Mountain Area Medical Center. So this hospital is actually the new site for the city of Huanggang's Central Hospital, and the main buildings are already topped up and ready for the hospital, the central hospital, to move in May. Yet the city of Huanggang decided to start using this new facility right now to compensate the surge of patients experiencing fever symptoms amid the Wuhan virus outbreak. And the surrounding area, we can still see the surrounding area is under construction, and right over there we can still see escalators. And this new hospital is set to be able to offer at least additional 1,000 hospital beds for patients experiencing fever symptoms. Those are highly likely to have contracted the coronavirus. And we've learned two groups of medical staff from neighboring Hunan province as well as Shandong province have come, so offered their assistance and help. And we've learned that at least one team from Shandong province have already started working inside of the hospital, and that hospital started to take in their